We got you for 2 hours, but I feel it's very important what you're going to hear. I will tell you that a long, long time ago, and if you listen to the introduction, you'll figure it out. I sat right around where Bush is, right around there, in the fall of my senior year, and heard this gentleman for the first time at BMR. So he is speaking to the seniors at Blacksville Middle Regional for his 28th consecutive year. So if you do the math, you'll know exactly how old I am and when I graduated. That's right, 28 consecutive years. He's the only person that we've had in to speak to our seniors the last 28 years, okay? So it's important for you to sit back, enjoy yourself, listen, get involved, be respectful, because when you leave here, I will guarantee that the majority of you will want to come up and shake his hand or hug him and thank him for spending 2 hours with you and educating you on life. Not only on his life, but on life choices. So again, it is my absolute pleasure to introduce the presenter who presented to me in 1986, and my friend for the last 28 years, Mr. Mainella.
I appreciate the applause. I don't play for applause. I spent time in prison. I spent a major portion of my entire life in prison because, by the way, when I address my audience, sir, I used to do, Mr. Duchamp knows no longer, I'm pushing 70. By the way, if you're looking for laughs, I suggest you get up and get out right now. I don't suffer fools. I never did. When I was your age, if you look at me the wrong way, miss, I'd bite your nose off and spit it in your face. I was not a pleasant person to deal with. You're told go to college, you'll be made. That's the biggest bunch of crap you will ever hear. You don't have to go to college, sir, to be nice. You're not going to hear one thing from me that hopefully you haven't heard many times from your family, your friends. By the way, if you have in your lifetime one true friend, you will know what it's like to have get powerful. Because most, miss, at my advanced age, most people share with me that they wish they had one true friend. You see, friends never laugh at their friends. Friends never betray their friends. We live in a racist, sexist, biased, bigoted, judgmental society. You give someone the finger, you spew some filth, people laugh. I don't. You give compliments, sir. I hold doors all day long. Rarely does anyone look me in the eyes, miss, and say, grazie, thank you. I'm not going to tell you anything you haven't heard from the Dudeks, the Duchamps, the great teachers. And I don't blow smoke, my friend. You see, my life is behind me. They tell me I have very little time left on this earth. 7, 8 years ago, when I came here, I had just been told that I had 6 months left. Misdiagnosis. I do not have Parkinson's. I can't stop the shakes. Number one, it's embarrassing as a speaker. Every day I'm in front of audiences and I see people staring at my hands. It is what it is, as they say. My name is Mark Mainella. Mr. Dudek, Mr. Duchamp, my former student. Your teachers, miss, honor me by extending the privilege every year to come back and speak to the students at BM. I've never once, sir, been embarrassed in this room. I'm in high schools with armed guards and metal detectors, people throwing things at me, calling me 8-year-old, blah, blah, blah. One time, and I never go back. I'm too old for nonsense, sir. By the way, there's nothing wrong with laughter, as long as it's not used to hurt another human being's feelings. We live, you do. in a sick society. I'm not going to beat a dead horse, miss, with current events, the murders and the mayhem and genocide and worse than. We study history, hunt, to learn from the past so we don't make the same mistakes again and again. Only fools do that. Now, I've done it in my life. I come, just so you know you're dealing with, I do not identify myself as a white Italian male. I'm that. I am a human being. And that's who I deal with. I do not deal with black people, white people, Hispanics, Italians, Germans, Jews, Catholics, Protestants, Muslims. Miss, I happen to believe in Jesus Christ. If that's a problem for you, I'm sorry. Believe in mud. If worshiping mud, Mother Earth, there are people who do that. If that gives you leverage in your life, and that helps you to be a better person today, miss, I'm going to torn rotator cuff, miss. I was on a jackhammer for about an hour and a half, a day and a half. I'm an old laborer. You know, some people think using their brain gives them the right to laugh at those of us who use our backs. I left home, third day of 6th grade, my teacher called me again, grease ball. They go, what, loser? Told me to sit down front with the dumbbell chair. Sir, they put a dunce cap on my head. Everybody in the class laughed. I left. I really went back to school. I officially quit when I was 16. I have no education. I have no credentials. Mr. Duchamp, Mr. Dudek, your teachers have associates, bachelors, masters. Sir, I work with Dr. this and Dr. that. Last week, Monday, a week ago Monday, I lose track of my days, sir. I was with Dr. Bernard Gassaway, one of America's premier administrators. Just got his earned, sir, not an honorary degree, an earned doctorate in education leadership from Columbia University. My wife and I were honored to be asked to go to the graduation last May 20th. Bernard Gassaway is the former principal of Boys and Girls High School, 4,000 students, armed guards, metal detectors. When he would introduce me, not comparing you, miss, just to give you perspective, I used to do 250 high schools a year. Oh, about 50 colleges, 25 to 50 prisons. Today, miss, let's just cut to the chase. I'm way off my game. Hair's gone, back's gone, legs are gone, I can't see. I've got the shakes, they're gonna have to operate. I'm going later today. I'm not making any money anymore, miss. I don't have sponsors. I had national sponsors. I traveled all over the country. Now, basically, I'm traveling, miss, Boston to New York City, my second home, sharing the truth. So before we begin, if your life is in perfect order, if you are in what we call the power zone, I mean, if you feel that you're on your game and you can maintain that winner's, they call it the edge, miss, get up, get up. Because I got nothing for you. I'm not on my game. I need help every day. My grandchildren, little Gracie, Julia, Louis, Vincent, they inspire me. They tell me, Grampy, you told me not to do that. Why are you doing it? What does one say, miss, when one is trying to help a youngster avoid making the mistakes an oldster has already made, and I continue to make the same mistake? So be forewarned. Let's clear the air. Obviously, I'm not a handsome man. Some people think being handsome gives them the right to laugh at those of us who aren't. I'm certainly not a wealthy man, miss. I made, at one point in my life, I made very good money, blew it all. Blew it all. In fact, came that close, miss, to blowing Forza della Famiglia, our family. You know that 1 out of 2 marriages in this country go down the tubes in divorce. But it doesn't matter that you go to college or not. Miss, it matters that you live a quality life. You're told to go to college. What happened to common courtesy, basic civility? The Pope, and I don't proselytize, sir. I'm telling you, man, I have respect for Muslims, Jews, Buddhists. I study all religions. I didn't know until they misdiagnosed me, sir, about 7 years ago, I was 61, that I'm dyslexic, ADD. She said, the doctor, she said, Mr. Mainella, before we go into the problems you're having with the neuro, whatever, she said, you are an extremely learning, disabled, older man. I said, Doc, do you know what I do for a living? I'm at Boston Latin, the Bronx School of Science, Catholic Memorial, Bishop Hendricken down the street, Mount St. Charles. I'm at Blackstone Millville. I'm with great teachers. Miss, you know some teachers hate teaching. They hate the students. They don't want any part of me. There are schools right in this area that oh, we can't waste time with you. You have no credentials. I say, so thank you, and move on. You've got teachers here who care. Who care. I do in-services, sir, all over the, not anymore all over the country. In New England, New York, New Jersey, down in Florida, still, sir. I do in-services with faculty. Imagine me talking to your teacher about being a great teacher. It's almost a joke, except, sir, I've learned from the best teachers in this country. If you love teaching, if you love young people, if you care and you allow them to know that you care, you own them. They'll do everything they can to rise to your expectations. Reverse it, sir. I heard they have me locked in the principal's bathroom. I heard a teacher saying, that effing animal, that kid's probably gonna bust the place up, sir. I tell you straight to your face. I never thought about breaking up Mr. Barrett's bathroom. I did. In 1959, thereabouts, it cost my father, working class family, $360 to replace the smashed toilet, the latrine, you know, thing. Il disgrazia la famiglia, sir. I disgraced my own family. I was taught common courtesy, civility, respect. I wasn't listening. Now I know you guys can hear me. When I shout, I'm not shouting at you, miss. Nearly 70 years of intensive loud rock and roll have deafened me. For me to hear my own words, I've got to bring it up a few. Sir, I love human beings. I couldn't care less the color of your skin. Sir, I don't have to tell you, as a young white male, if you happen to be a young black male in the vicinity of crime, anywhere in this country, if you happen to be, how would we say, I grew up, we heard the words poor. That's not politically correct. I'm apolitical, sir. You see, where I come from, most of the politicians, one step below the gangsters. They're on the take and they wind up in the joint themselves. You get my drift, sir? Hopefully you got some good politicians here. The truth will set you free. God rest his soul. God bless his soul. Dr. King said it best, I think. He said, judge me by the color of my skin, never. He said, judge me by the color of the cloth, never. Sir, you're going to judge me based on how I'm dressed? This is camouflage. Superficial, it means nothing. Dr. King said, judge me by the content of my character. You looking for laughs, friend? Because if you are, one more time, I'll give it to you, sir, in your face. Just get up and get out. I don't have the time nor the temperament to screw around with knuckleheads, nitwits, numbskulls. I wrote that book. They're told go to college and be made. I'm telling you the truth. The truth will set you free. You don't owe anybody school fare. Nothing. You owe yourself the opportunity to live your dream. I'm not here to tell you how to live your life, sir. I'm here to tell you how I have learned by modeling myself after people that I have come to respect who live quality lives. Mother Teresa never went to school a day in her life as we know it. She spent her entire life giving, caring, and sharing. I have college students coming down to me afterwards. So where's the money, Mr. Allen? Where's the money? Stupid. Want to make a lot of money? That's the simplest game in town. You focus on money. We're the wealthiest, best educated nation that's ever existed. The most corrupt, the most jaded, the most deviant. Miss, my name's Mark Mainella. I'm a human being. Of course, I'm proud of my ethnicity, my gender. I'm proud of my race. Everyone in this sick society. That's what makes America great. God bless America. Sir, I heard politicians recently, we're not going to use any names, Tell those Mexicans they're criminal, rapists and appellate. And then someone else said, shoot them all coming across the border. Sir, we don't shoot animals in this country. Shoot the Mexicans. What kind of lunacy is that? Tell them to speak English. Interesting concept. Sir, when I point, it's rude. I don't know people's names, so I've got to, by the way, again, thank Mr. Dudek, Mr. Duchamp. Thank your great teachers for making this day happen. Let's give it up to them for 20 years. The cat laughs in my face. He's not laughing at me. All I have to do is look into people's eyes, and you read their character. That's how you judge, based on internal values. In our society, sir, you're told you've got to have a certain shape and a certain size and a certain color skin and certain styles you affect. I hope, sir, you don't look in those filthy magazines claiming a fashion. I was a Gentleman's Quarterly. I used to look at Gentleman's Quarterly and say, God, if I could only look like that. It's hard enough, sir, trying to be who you are. Why try to be what you aren't? I've tried it. People live their entire lives trying to be something they're not. If you knew how little time people spend thinking about you, sir, as a unique individual, you wouldn't waste any of your time worrying about what other people are thinking. Just be true to yourself. It's easy to be nice, sir. You're being nice to me right now, than to be a knucklehead. I told my son when he was about me, my son's 46, 47 years old. My daughter committed, you know that 1 out of 5 women are dying in this country right now of anorexia, bulimia? What kind of sick society promotes images that no one can attain? Just be true to yourself, man. You know, you're a good-looking young guy sitting here, sir. You know what I think it's cool? I think it's cool if you, handsome, smart, I'm sure, are nice to the people in this class who aren't so handsome, who aren't so smart. I think it'd be cool, sir, for you today, with your in crowd, to embrace the out crowd. I think it'd be cool for you, sir, I'm talking to you, your face. In the cafeteria, you see a cat that's sitting all alone, never gets out on a date. Not a popular guy. You see a young lady sitting over there all alone that everybody sort of blows off, you know. Not the prettiest, not the smartest girl in your class. Everybody wants to be around the pretty girl. Hey, you're cute, huh? Oh, well, that's the truth. Everybody wants to be around this big, tough guy. Miss, I was a big, strong guy. I'm no tough guy. I never was, miss. I played at being tough. See, I wanted to be a gangster. Well, that's a joke, and she's got a pretty smile. Miss, do you like being laughed at? If you didn't hear what the woman said, she looked me dead in the eye and she said, no, I don't, Mr. M. Miss, do you think I like being laughed at, Mr. Duchamp, Mr. Dudek, your teachers, your mother? Do you think your best friend likes being made fun of? I'm asking. No. Next time you're going to laugh at another human being because of the shape and size of their body, the color of their skin, the style of their hair, the cut of the cloth. I get it all the time. Where'd you get that outfit? Why would you say that to someone, Miss? You, I, we all in this room are wearing what we're wearing for one of two reasons. It's the only outfit we own, or you made a conscious decision today, Miss, to put those clothes on. You don't like her outfit? Shut your mouth! Why must we be so nasty to one another? Hey, fatso! I've been called, hey, dumbbell! You think that 6th grade teacher put a dunce cap on my head, had everybody laugh at me in the class? Do you think she was a good teacher, Miss? Great teachers know that shame destroys character, positive reinforcement builds character. I'm here because you've got the principal, administrators, Mr. Duchamp, people who care about you. Look, you can hear the proverbial pin drop. I always told my son, my daughter, Miss, use your padrone. father. Use me as a point of reference what not to do. Because if you're looking for a role model, you bought the wrong ticket, Jack. I screwed up everything. And I continue to, Miss, I'm not making, our house burned down. Google it. I don't do computer. I can't read. January 10th, 2014, we're 2 months shy. We've been living in a camper. No disrespect to the gypsies, but like gypsy savages, traveling all. We've been living for almost 2 years. My wife, she's a baby. She's 67. I've got young men. No women, unfortunately, sexist as it may sound in the construction industry, very few plumbers, plasterers, masons, all around me, and they're doing work, and I figure, geez, I'm not making much money, but I'm an old laborer. I can dig ditches, I can pour concrete, I can tote brick. Well, I got on a jackhammer for a day and a half, miss, to save a couple $100. Now I'm going for an operation. Later today, they're going to tell me when. It's going to cost about $14,000, of which coming out of our pocket, my wife and I, older people, it's going to be $3,000 or $4,000. That's called, miss, being a fool. My wife, well, it is, miss, and again, you laugh. I don't take that as a negative laugh. Laughter is healthy as long as it's not used to hurt another human being's feelings. Do you like having a good laugh, miss, with your crew out on the street? Do you think I do? What about Mr. Dudek, your principal, Mr. Duchamp? What about your teachers? Do you think they like to have a good laugh? Human beings need to bring a little levity into their lives every day. Laughter is healthy. I love to have a good laugh. Sir, if you're white, wealthy, and your family's connected politically, you can beat this system to death, do anything you want, just about. If you're black, you're poor, I don't know what else to use, what word. You know, I'm not a political guy. I walk on thin ice. There are schools I can spit at from this building, won't touch me. They say he has no credential. He doesn't connect with our students. That's all I do, sir. I connect with human beings. If you're black, you're poor, you're a male in the vicinity of crime, you'll do time. Or worse. You're white, you're wealthy, your family's connected. You beat the system. I despise the hypocrisy in this country. Tell the Mexicans to stay there. Sir, why do people from all over the world come and do back over flips to get to live here? Why, sir? What do we have in this country that doesn't exist as we know it in most other countries, miss? Miss, you're too polite. I do not dummy this down for high school audiences. I treat you no different than when I'm with your teachers doing an in-service, the teacher's teacher. We ask rhetorically, no, specifically. Do you love teaching? Because if you don't love the kids in this building, get out! Simple message in my programs, miss. I ask you a question because I learn by listening to you. This is as good a school as I have ever. No smoke, miss. I don't blow smoke. Miss, you were too polite. There's no need for hands up and down. Rules of the road. In this so-called seminar, one person speaks, statazi. That is, everyone else shuts their mouth. I speak, you shut up and listen. You speak, we, everyone else, statazi, you shut your mouth and listen. It's called mutual respect. Miss, I can't watch these shows with these, well, I don't even want to I don't want to embarrass myself. Miss, I have students, college students, that, did you see Springer's show last night? Springer. I'd rather catch a beating right now. I'm an old man than watch that film. I mean, what you said, Mrs. Freedom, you're an adult, you want to watch adult entertainment. That's none of my business. I'm not here to judge anyone. I'm here to share the truth. Miss, Springer, I had sex with my mother's father's sister's brother. He's a black midget and he's gay. What kind? There's no such thing. And a college student's telling me that line, did you see that guy? And are you crazy? That's all lies. He's pandering. He's lower than a pimp. You know what pimps do for a living? When I'm in the joint, sir, the lowest of the low. Do you know who they are, sir, in prison? Well, they're in segregated population. They're never allowed to come into general population. Do you know who I'm talking about, sir? Get hip to the play, my friend. Called short eyes. They're men, very few women, sir. They got eyes for little people. You get it, sir? Why do you think they're never allowed in general populations? All polls, things that I've been in Rikers. Rikers regularly. Frank Doty used to bring me there once a week. Why do you think short eyes are never allowed in general pop, sir? I'm sorry? I'm confused. I don't know what you mean, sir. Why don't, and you've got to project, I can't hear you, Elvis Presley, Little Richard, Chuck Berry, James Brown. I grew up with the greats of rock and roll in the 50s, blowing my hearing up. Miss, why do you think prisons do not allow pedophiles out of their cells? They're segregated, they put them all in one wing, and basically they get to go out for a few minutes a day. Why aren't they allowed to mingle with the other prisoners? No one knows you. Let's get this class hip to the plate. Why, miss? Because they get shipped in a split second. Everybody's got a kid in a joint. It's the worst crime anyone can commit. You screw around with children, you're dead. End of story. You get it, sir? Oh, I hope you do, man. Because at 18, 19 years old, my opinion is you got to get hip to the play, how our society works. There's all kinds of criminals, sir. I was never with people doing that for a living. I'm a degenerate gambler. I love shooting crap. Why do you think politicians have legalized gambling, sir? Let me stay with my man. Gambling is bad, man. You gamble, you're going to lose. You got Skidoo in your pocket, scratch long green bread today. Go to the casino. You're going to be a bust-out guy when you leave. Get some action on the street. There's very little left now. You're going to lose. Why? Because the nature of the game. Gambling. The house, legally, in the casino, sir, illegally on the street, controls the numbers. They make it so that you can't win. They'll let you win a little bit, sir. And you double up, I used to. And then you double up, win again, and then double up. Eventually, you give it all back, plus everything you've got. Now, sir, I'm an old man. If today's my last day, and we don't connect on any other level, let's get connected this way. More dangerous than any vice, drugs, alcohol, deviant behavior, crime, my opinion, and I'm sharing, sir, my life experience, is you carrying a credit card. You see this Montel Williams on television? They're paying him millions of dollars to tell people, in 24 hours, we will give you $1,000 guaranteed. All you have to earn is $200 a week. No one earns $200 a week. That's a thin an hour. Minimum wage is $7, $8, $9 in most states. They're pandering to the lowest socioeconomic strata. The cat that needs 1,000 in 24 hours, that desperate, poor individual takes a loan from those people, the juice, sir, the vigorish, the interest, sir. When I grew up, 50, 60 years ago, it was capped by the government. 18%. Couldn't charge more than that. If you wanted quick money, you went to gangsters, and they charged heavy big. You don't pay them, you lose your legs. Now, our government has been bought and paid for by the banking industry, the gambling industry. Our government allows that company to charge, sir, 263% on that loan. The guy that borrows 1,000, under those circumstances, obviously, miss, he ain't ever gonna pay that off. They own you. Why did the government legalize big-time gambling? Because they got their hands in the pockets of the gaming industry. They've been bought and paid for, miss. Do you get it? Do you get it? I'm not against you gambling. You got extra bread today? You want to give it away? Bet your brains out. Miss, the judge sent me away when I was, I don't know, 14 years old. He said, shut your mouth, boy, excuses are for losers. That's the truth, miss. Next time you hear, poor me as a black man, as a black woman, poor me, I grew up Bentley, Babs, and Bryan. I worked in all those camps, those are the 3 big B business schools. I hear from women constantly, Mr. Mainella, you're discounting the glass ceiling. Things aren't just. Of course things aren't just. You're looking for that which does not exist. You're going to lose. You want to beat the system, miss, as a black woman, you're going to have to work harder than a white woman. She says, I know she's not the only one hip to the play. Why they don't allow pedophiles? Because of what the woman told you. They're despised. Other than pedophiles are pimps. When you want to be around a pimp, a man, woman, female pimps, who would sell your daughter, your mother, your sister, your wife, for sexual favors? Of course not, sir. Get into the play. We live in a society that if you flash the cash, you can command respect. You put gold and silver on your body. You wear a Rolex watch. You can impress people. Not me, sir. Been there, done it. I'm impressed by those who are nice. Not white, not black, not Hispanic. Miss, did the Indians earn the respect? They've lived here for thousands of years. I live in Barrington, Rhode Island, little Mickey Mouse town. On the border, my wife, she is a very smart person. Miss, she's a better person than I'll ever dream of being. I'm a major league screw-up. But I do try, miss. I want to be a better person today than I was yesterday. I intend, miss, tomorrow when I'm lecturing, to do a better job than I'm doing for you right now. Every day, as old and feeble as I may seem to you, I give every ounce of energy. I give my heart and soul to my audience in the hope that I can help one human being avoid making the mistakes that I've already made. Go to college, you may cut the crap. Live a quality life, be nice, be kind, be courteous. When was the last time you told a family member, I love you? When was the last time you looked in a teacher's face? Your teachers can make more money, sir, dealing crack cocaine, rock cocaine on a street corner in a few hours than they make in a week in this building. Great teachers are grossly underpaid, in my opinion. No one respects your teachers more than me. Hey, sir, there's respect from your teachers. They care. They're trying to help you. Pretty soon, you're going to walk out of this building. Your future, out there, whether you go to college or not, you're going to work. No one cares about you. It's all about the Benjamins out there, so you got it? I hope this man gets it. I want everybody to buy the truth, because I bought the lie. Go to college, have a lot of things, make a lot of money. I actually thought it was cool to be a gangster, sir. I've got to ask you, sir. I've got to ask you. Men of respect, Godfather. Do you believe any of that stuff, sir? You taken in by it? I was. So I'm going to show you a picture. Where I come from, you don't give up names. Never. How do gangsters go down? Who rats them out? Who spoke? I can't hear. Were you speaking? What'd you say? They rat each other out every day. Who put Gotti away? Sammy the Bull Gravano. Who put Whitey Bulger away? Kevin Weeks. His own people. Men of respect and honor. They kill each other. They cheat on each other. And then occasionally they kill innocent people. We glorify, we glamorize men. Whitey Bulger killed 20 men. He killed women that he had sex with. He cut their fingers off with grip pliers. He pulled their teeth out so they couldn't identify their dental records. You want me to respect guys like that? We live in a sick society. Get hip to the play. I respect your father, sir, for getting up early this morning and going to work. I respect your mother, miss, for her willingness tonight maybe to stay late, work overtime, because she can make a little skidole and better provide for her family. That's not cool, miss. It's cool for the in-group here on Friday night to exclude you. Hey, you're not invited to this party. I think, miss, you're an attractive woman. Be nice to the guy in this class that never gets out on a date. Be nice to the guy that's sitting in the cafeteria that everybody laughs at, throws things at. You know what? His feelings are no different than yours. Why must we be so nasty to one another? This is my goomba. That's me. Miss, you know, shoot the Mexicans. I don't want to dwell on it, miss, because I get crazy thinking about it. Miss, tell them to speak English. We live in America. Tell them to speak English. Miss, when America was inhabited solely by the natives, Indians, they lived for thousands of years relatively peacefully. problems like anyone else. The Europeans, white men who came here, did they respect the natives? Did they learn from them? Did they learn how to speak the native language? Did they assimilate into the cultural mores of the Indians that were here then? No. What did they do? Barrington, if you want to visit, it's little Swansea, Massachusetts, your state, there's a plaque. My wife and I are bicycling, and she said, Mark, look at this, you talk about the King Philip's War. I'm a student of history, that's why we study history, to learn from the past, not to repeat the same. Miss, there's a plaque there in 1675 on that spot in Swansea, Mass. The King Philip War ended. They slaughtered almost 700 men, women, and children. Indians were slaughtered on that spot. Finito. No more Indians to deal with. Speak English. Nothing wrong with you speaking English, as long as you don't think you're better than those who don't. Nothing wrong with you living in Blackstone Middlebrook in a beautiful home, having a beautiful family, as long as you're not insensitive to those who live on the street, who are orphaned. Nothing wrong, sir, with you being handsome, as long as you're not making fun of those who aren't. Nothing wrong with being rich, as long as you're not laughing at those that are poor. Nothing wrong with having fancy clothes, as long as you're not making fun of those who are wearing used clothes. This came from Savers. $25 after the fire. Everything we own is gone. Now, the only thing we lament, sir, people say, oh, sorry, no sympathy. Sympathy's a loser's ploy. Empathy. I want you to understand, sir, history is important. Our grandchildren are never, ever going to know what their grandparents, oh, excuse me, I'm the grandparents, what their great-grandparents and great-great-grand, our families, both my wife's and ours, came over at the turn of the century. Now, all those pictures are gone. Now, that hurts. So I forewarn you someday, my man, if you build a family and you want your next generation to know about it, make sure there's duplicate pictures. We lost everything. That hurts. Those stupid. I bought $1,000 Brioni suits. You think a Brioni feels any different than this rag from Savers? Of course not. Gets him. He looks at me, he goes like this, absolutely not, man. Go to college, you can miss his name. Who puts gangsters away? Men of respect, they rat each other out. And by the way, miss, can I clear the air with you right now? Right now. There's no such thing as the mafia. It never has been in this country. 150 years ago in Sicily, organized crime, Italian, Irish. No one kills like the Irish. No ethnic slur for the Irish. It just is what it is. Read about the Westies. How they got the handle of being the Houdinis of organized crime in New York City in the 60s, 70s. You know what a Houdini is. Houdini is a magician. Houdini makes things disappear. When they kill Coonan, Featherspoon, those guys, read about it. T.J. English, the Westies. They cut the bodies in little pieces and flushed them down the toilet on 8th Avenue and 49th Street, the heart of Hell's Kitchen. Oh, I live there today. When I stay in New York City, different neighborhoods, it's going through gentrification. Black gangsters, larger street gangs that I work with, sir. The Tongs, the Chinese control all illegal gambling in New York City today. You watch that mafia stuff, it makes me want to puke. See it, sir? Sing. See it, sir? Joseph Hattusa. See him today, my age, 69 years old. What does he say? Just do your best. Never compare yourself, and you give the finger to anyone who compares you. I'm going to show you how. Well, your brother, your sister, you're not like anyone else on this planet. 1 out of 5 women die, and my daughter looking in. You're going to look, miss, today in Mademoiselle, Fashion, miss, you're going to get Jet Magazine today, Ebony, and look at the models and say, ooh, I wish I had skin. It's all lies. It's all Photoshop, miss. Everything is about sell, sell, sell. Who are the gangsters? Madison Avenue, Wall Street. No disrespect to your families in banking. I'm sure there are some good bankers. Bankers who want us to borrow money that they know we'll never be able to pay back. they'll reclaim the house, 1 out of 8 homes in receivership in 2008. How did it happen? The government allowed the banks to make usurious loans to people who had no business buying a home, knowing that in a year or two, they wouldn't make the payments, they'd boot them out, take the property back, flip it over, and guys and women made, not millions, miss, billions of dollars. That's called legal gangsterism. This guy, see it, sir? 8 years in Sing Sing, solitary. He is one of the great human beings that I am connected to. I'll put my head through that wall right now for Joseph Artuso. His family owns on 187th Street. We were there last Monday. Richie Caballero, principal of Bullet Havens. Dr. Bernard Gasway, former principal of Boys and Girls High School, Bedford-Stuy. Bernard tells the story when he was 13 years old. His mother was sick. They wouldn't allow him in the elevator because he and his mother were black. In that building, in New York City, they didn't allow, this isn't 100 years ago, this is 40 years ago. They wouldn't allow him to get in the elevator to go up to the doctor's office, so he carried his mother 13 floors. Talk to me about equality and justice. Miss, I love this country. I believe in America because one of these women, someone said it down front, we have personal freedom. Why are the Mexicans coming? Because the power brokers in this country, in particular farmers in the West, the Southwest, they want them because they pay them slave labor, and they will, Mexicans will, bend over with a knife and cut lettuce all day. How many Americans do you know working in a field today? Tell me, how many do you know? None. None. Speak English. Miss, did the Pilgrims respect the Indians? What did they do to the Indians, miss? They killed them all. In the War of 1812 in New York, soldiers had died of smallpox, the pox, Black Death, bubonic plague. They gave those blankets, miss, to an Indian tribe, the Algonquins, up the Hudson River. Killed all the Indians. The Indians were happy getting warm blankets. It was the worst winter in 100 and something. Our government gave the Indians blankets that were infected with smallpox.
Oh, sorry,
I'm sorry.
Brianna Crawley, you have Brianna? You're mocked out. I'm sorry, Mr. Mainella.
No, sir, by the way, I'm embarrassed. I'm always, when you introduce me, I don't like the man. I love him and his family, but he has kept me going, in particular, in this building for years. My salute to you, and I will be saluting you and Mr. Dudek at the end, sir. But you always brag to me, and I want to say it to your face because he says it behind your back. He always brags he's got the best students, the best teachers. But today, I must say, I look in your eyes, sir, I see respect, maturity. That's as much as I can read from another human being. The eyes give it up. Please give it up to my young, old friend, Mr. Duchamp. Sally, do you mind my using your name? Okay, then it's easier for me to do Sally than to do Mr. Sir. I do that out of respect to my audience. I had a teacher come down on me. How dare you call my students sir or miss? That's class in English. Hey, I don't know anything. It's respect for me. If you're offended by that, you tell me, hey, I'm offended. I apologize and we move on. People say to me all the time, Sally, you must be so proud of your son. He's a world-class surgeon, cuts people's hearts out, puts a... Really, proud of my son, a surgeon? Absolutely not. God forbid, Miss Sally. Today, he slips just a little bit. Imagine me operating on you. You're dead for sure. He slips. Doctors are human beings. They make mistakes. He slips. You're dead. 100,000 that we know. 100,000 people died. Sir, I'm sure there's more than that. Documented in 2013. We don't have 14 statistics. Sir, 100,000 plus people dead in America due to medical malpractice. Being a doctor doesn't make you better, it makes you different. I'm an old laborer. I'm trying to save myself some money on a jackhammer. I tear the rotator cuff. Now I've got to have a doctor cut me. I hope he's a competent doctor. You understand? My kid screws up, you're dead. I respect my kid. I've never heard my son swear. Sir, do you want your kid at home? Do you want to hear in your home today? All that felt talk. What's wrong in America? I'm in Modell's on 42nd Street. There's two little brothers, cute as buttons. I mean, maybe 8, 10 years. You're my nigger dog. You're my nigger dog. I'm looking around. God, I'm going to say something. And Dr. Gasaway said to me before, Mark, it doesn't mean the same thing. But you got to tell them, Miss, I don't dislike the word. I despise it. Do you like hearing that word, Miss? Then please, I'm begging you to stop using it. Because I don't hear white people often, not often, miss, calling people of color nigger. I hear people of color calling each other. She says she knows. Well, of course you know it's true. You've got to stop it. Do you like being called nasty names, sir? You Irish boy? What's your ethnicity? English? You like being called a lowlife lion? Well, of course not. Why do we use those words? At one time I did, sir. Well, that wasn't one that I missed. 1 out of 3 don't make it through high school. I never made it through grade school. I tell my family, my grandchildren now, how important your high school years are. You may not understand it. You see, that man and I have been together for years. Miss, when you leave this building in a few months, your senior year is going to go by like that. Look around this room. Odds are, other than I just went to what would have been a 50th reunion. Saturday night, my wife's got hers, but I never graduated. But I still know enough of the crews from the class of 63, 4, and 5. They invite me to their reunions. They put the name tag on it where it says graduation date. It says question mark, question mark. Everybody laughs. That's a good laugh among friends. My wife graduated in 66. She's going to hers next year. Other than a reunion, once you leave this building, miss, I'm telling you to your face, you're not going to see any of these cats again the rest of your life. Is friendship important to you? Having one true friend, Joe Artuso is a friend of mine. Bernard Castle, Richie Calvo. I've got people that literally this side of crime. I can't do the time, miss. I'm too old, among other things. There's nothing I wouldn't do. How do you know if you've got one friend? You hit Powerball, you're going to have a lot of friends. You get a hot car, a muscle car. Everybody wants to ride with this guy. What's your name, sir?
Sam.
Sam, can I use your name? My name's Mark Mainella. Sam, nothing wrong with you speaking English as long as you recognize the right of those who don't speak English to use what is comfortable for them. How pompous, how arrogant a society to think English will rule forever. The Romans ruled the known world. They spoke Latin. How many people speak Latin in the world today? Conversationally. No, it's used in the Catholic Church. No one speaks Latin. It is what is called the dead language. Now, I can do it in Italian, Spanish, French, or Portuguese. The words all derive from Latin. And the Spazio la Famiglia. I disgrace my family. People say, I got guys coming down to me at this time. Listen, Mainella, I come from a dysfunctional family. Hey, Sally, get hip to the plate. Every family is dysfunctional by design. There are no perfect families. I come from a wonderful family. What's my excuse? I had a rotten attitude. Everybody talks to you about aptitude. I talk about attitude. Are you smiling, enthusiastic? Do you respect your teachers? Do you want respect from Mr. Duchamp? Your great teachers, the ones who care? You say, yes, I believe you. Can I challenge you then? We have no problem giving each other the finger, spewing filth. Any given day, I hold doors. Rarely does anyone say thank you anymore. Sir, do you have a problem getting in Duchamp's face? Any one of your great teachers, they kill themselves to connect with you and say, you know, I'm a senior man, you've been really good to me. I really respect you. Thank you for helping me. That's how much time, split second, that's how hard. No effort. Except sincerity. Do you have a problem saying that, sir? Well, then say it. Miss, is friendship important to you? Having one true friend? A friend will never betray their friend. How do you know if you've got a friend? Not when something good happens to you. It's when you fail at the game of life. You're flat on your back. You're laying down, and everybody says, this kid, oh, around her. Look at it. If you have one friend, when everybody else walks out, your friend walks in, lends a helping hand. Sally is having a friend, a true friend, throughout your life who will cover your back through thick and thin. Is that important? It is. When was the last time you turned to a friend and said, Habla Espanol? Anyone speak Spanish here? Any paisans? Italian? Sir, the words are all the same in the Romance languages. Amici por tutta la vita. Friends are friends for life. True friends. Sir, is friendship important to you? It is. When was the last time you got in a friend's face and said, you're my friend, man. I've never said it to you before, but I'm just thinking, after we graduate, I'll never see you again, probably. I will never betray you. Don't you ever betray me. If I hurt you today, I step on your toes, I misspeak and offend you, tell me to my face, I apologize, and our friendship grows. I respect my son because he has good values. What do I care? He's a doctor. Means nothing. I wish he weren't a doctor. He certainly would be making a lot more money if he were in business. Wall Street wants us to buy things. Madison Avenue that we don't need, we don't want, with money we don't have. That credit card is potentially more dangerous in your pocket, I've done it, sir, than any weapon that is being carried on the streets of America today. Of that, I believe wholeheartedly. 70% of our society is living week to week. Do you think business cares about the individual? They want our money, sir. You have got to find businesses who care about you. You've got to be. Sal has got to be the next business entrepreneur, like a guy I know, Paul Baggett. We were childhood chums, still are. I love him to death. He gave us his home when our home burned down. Wouldn't take a cent. That's a friend, sir. We need more Paul Baggett's who, as a businessman, successful. He gives. No, I'm not condemning bankers, Wall Street, Madison Avenue, business. I'm telling you the way it is. Out here, you've got to care about yourself. You've got to take responsibility. I'm telling the judge, poor me, poor me. I took action in Boston, sir. When I was laboring in Gilbane on the Prudential Center, the Italian labor steward and the Irish labor steward, well, they were bookies. You know, the Irish and the Italian handled all the action on the construction jobs. They wouldn't take a bet from a black man. So I did. I took all the action from my black friends that I had, Woody and Smitty, and then I would pass, kick up, and I'd get kicked back. That's how organized crime works. You make a little, you kick up to the boss, he kicks up to his boss. I got in trouble, sir. Judge changed my life. He said, shut your mouth, boy, excuses are for losers, you just lost. Not fun, sir. Not fun to go that route. It's easier to do the right thing and reap the rewards that life has to bestow upon us than to do the wrong thing. My son's top of his class from Boston College, University of New England. That doesn't make him better, it makes him different. I never finished 6th grade. 1 out of 3 don't make it to high school. I salute every one of you today. Every one of you in your faces. You've done something that today, 1/3 of the people who start 9th grade, sir, never graduate. The pleasure, the pride you're going to have graduating here in front of your teachers, administrators, Mr. Duchamp, your mother, your father, your girlfriend, boyfriend, or your significant other, whatever that means to you, sir. I will never have that pleasure. 1 out of 3 don't make it through the first year of college. So let's clear this crap up about college material. Mr. Miller, I was accepted at Harvard. Well, who cares? College material, I've never felt it, smelled it, tasted, seen it, heard it. College material, rude to point, my friend. Being very respectful, acting like a mature young adult, no disrespect, I don't know your name. There's college material. Anyone who chooses, and if you doubt my words, go to my friend Duchamp, because he's got the copy of the film. Rudy, the real Rudy, he gets $45,000 to speak to you for 1 hour. He says, please don't confuse me with those speakers. He makes more in an hour than I make in 5 years, right? Sir, oh, God bless him. They paid Hillary Clinton's daughter, I don't know her name because I don't follow the political scene. Paid her $650,000 to talk about growing up privileged as a Clinton. $650,000 for 1/2 hour to talk about growing up privileged. Donald Trump says publicly, I'm worth billions! He says publicly in this book. The art of the deal. If I can't beat you, I won't deal with you. I want to be around Donald Trump. Man, he'll take my eyes out of my head before I can blink. Two types of people on this earth. They call it the malocchio in Italian, Spanish, the words are the same. The values that exist within the being exit the eyes. That's why people say, why do you keep jumping back on her or this guy? Because when you live on the street, hon, you learn how to read the eyes, otherwise you die. You screw with the wrong boy, you're going down for the count. Providence, Rhode Island, my original home, miss, I left Providence in the first time in the 60s. I ran to New York City, I couldn't get enough of it. Miss, they kill an average of 1 or 2 boys a week in Providence. I suggest you do not go into Providence on Saturday night. I'm begging you, don't go into Providence on Saturday night after 2 o'clock in the morning when all the joints are emptied out, everybody's jacked up, they're popping each other like it's the Wild West in Providence. It scares me, and that is my original home. The rest of my life has been mostly in New York City. Sir, takers tell us what we want to hear. You're doing it to me right now. You get in people's faces, they look you right in the eye. They're not afraid to show their internal feelings, their values. That's what Dr. King died for. God rest his soul, sir. Judge me by the content of my character. Sir, was he a perfect man? Did he make mistakes? Absolutely. I'm far from a perfect man. Sir, I'm betting you. I'm an old gambler. I don't gamble. Not anymore. I mean, I got nothing against you, sir. You got some extra scroll, you want to give it away, and it's fun for you to go to Foxwood, blow your brains out. Just don't think you're going to beat the system, because it never, ever will happen. End of that gambling story. So the second type of person, look in the eyes, they're givers. Givers sleep well. Mr. Duchamp, Mr. Dude, your mother, your father, people who care about you. You said you want respect from teachers, give it up. Not mañana, miss, not tomorrow, today. You want to have a friend? Well then, turn and say it. You're my friend, I'll never betray. People come down and say, hey, Mr. M, what if I say that to my friend? And he laughs in my face. Isn't it better you know today that he's not your friend? Why do you want to spend a lifetime? I have thinking that some people are your friends when behind your back they're laughing at you. You want friendship? Give it up. You want respect? Go to the teacher and say, I respect you. This is love, amore, lavamia, love in your family. Is that important to you? It is. I'm asking. These are not rhetorical questions. I'm asking. Sally, is love important to you? It is. When was the last time, Sally, you looked in your mother, father, sister, cousin, Uncle Tony's face and said, hey, Uncle Tony, sangue mio, son, we're blood, man. Amore, lavamia, I love our family. I love you, man. Is that a problem, Sally, to say? When was the last time you said it, Sally? Thank you, Sally. What you just did demonstrates to me, number one, that you are a human being, happen to be a white female. I don't know, I don't care about that stuff, whatever your ethnicity. You're a human being who has character. I look in people's faces. You know when people are giving you who shot John. What does he want me to say? Oh, have I said that I love you? Oh, yeah, I've said it. Cut the crap. People know when you're hustling them, sir, unless you're dealing with a real low-end fool. I'm not a smart guy. I try not to be a low-end fool. Fools continuously strive. I make a lot of mistakes, learn from it, and then I try to move on. Sir, she looked me dead in the eye and she said, I can't remember the last time. Number one, it shows character. Number two, she told the truth. Because when I ask these questions, historically, by the way, 28 years with Mr. Duchamp, I love him. Sir, this is my 39th consecutive year. There's no money for me in schools. They find expensive money. I love it, sir. 3 out of 4 people in this country hate what they do for a living. You know that. Blue Monday, Terrible Tuesday. What's Wednesday? Is today one? Yeah. What do they call Wednesday in America? Everybody in Blackstone Millville, miss. By the way, you got a gorgeous smile. Well, thank you for the thing. I keep looking at these two and they're laughing and cute. Take that as a compliment, hon, because I mean it sincerely. If I can't say something sincerely complimentary, start to see, I cut my tongue out. When I was 12, 13 years old, if I didn't have something nasty to say to you, I had nothing to say. Not because I was a Italian, white male. Because I come from a dysfunctional family. I come from a wonderful family. I had a rotten attitude. Life is all about attitude. I worked with a lot of smart men in the joint, college material. Sir, Rudy was called a dumbbell. What did he do? He didn't internalize. Whatever you believe about yourself today, how it manifests itself, you will become tomorrow. Sir, you say today, I can't do it, I can't do it. Tomorrow, you won't do it. It's called self-sabotage. We live in a world full of people saying, I can't. I want to be around people, Mr. Duchamp, who say, I got great students, I got great teachers, I love my family. I was around men. Hey, there's nothing wrong with having a little something on the side. I did that, sir. I nearly blew that close our relationship. You think that's cool, Hollywood? Why don't you think it's cool? Hit this one on Friday night, that one on Saturday night, forget about AIDS. I mean, let's help those who have AIDS. That's not the point. AIDS is a non-issue if you're doing the right thing. Sir, let's do the numbers. 1 out of 3 don't make it through high school. I never did. You can beat the odds, graduate here. You're on your way. No one quits at this point. As far as going to college, high school, 97% of our students go to college. Who cares? You want to go to Harvard, sir? You want to go to Brown, down in Providence? If you're not accepted, who saw the movie Rudy? I met the guy in every little high school other than me. Sir, 3 years at a community college. The only colleges I taught, sir, and I do it here, I've lectured on just about every campus here. The biggest bang, and I hope you're considering college, every one of you, as an option, because that's what America is all about, personal freedom. Sir, look at your community colleges, your state universities. They're the least expensive, the most readily accessible. You saw the movie Rudy, sir? You want to go to Notre Dame. Comparable to Holy Cross, BC, where my son went to Providence College, we've got Providence. Did he get to go to Notre Dame after 3 years, sir? He graduated top of his class. Did he get to play football, sir? The only limitations that exist are those that are self-imposed. Sir, you're going to have to work harder as a black man. You're going to have to work harder as a white woman, miss. As a white woman competing against white men, or maybe some minorities who are being treated with preferential deference. There is a glass ceiling. How to beat the glass ceiling? You've got a credential from Babson. You've got your accounting hands-on skills. Wrap that package with enthusiasm, a commitment to excellence. So when they put that glass ceiling in your face, you say, what's going on here? He got the job. She got the job. Why didn't I get it? That's called the glass ceiling. Find a way, as El Toro the bull finds a way over the obstacle, under it, around, or sometimes he puts his head down and runs right through life's obstacles. You don't owe anybody dust. You owe it to yourself to be the best that you can be. How many times can I repeat it? Self-sabotage. I wrote the book, miss. I can't do it. Miss, as soon as you hear someone copy the color of my skin, my ethnic background, my family's no good, my school's no good, I'm too short, I'm too tall, I'm too fat, I'm too small. You're dealing with a loser. I wrote the book. I changed my attitude, my life changed. I got back out on the street. I got a GED. 1 out of 3 don't make it through high school. I never did. I got a GED, not to be compared with what you're going to get, Sally. Accredited diploma here. Sally, 1 out of 3 who start college every year, getting in is no big deal. Rudy did it. He knows you can do it. You don't get accepted to Brown, to Harvard, to MIT. You go elsewhere, prove yourself. Get the goods, and then transfer them through the back door. It's done every day. I could give you so many stories. Billy Mahoney, Harvard grad, 2 years at a community college. Dr. Goldstone, Ed Goldstone. I'm bragging, Miss Muhammad Ali. He's got the Parkinson's, God help. Muhammad said it best. Hey, it ain't bragging, man. I am the greatest. He said that in '91. I believed it then, miss, and I believe it today, and I'm not looking to argue with you about who you believe is the greatest. For me, it was, is, and it will always be Muhammad Ali inspired me. He said, I am not bragging. I am the greatest. Miss, no brag. I'm with the best academicians in this country. Dr. Ed Goldstone earned earned, not an award from a college, earned his educational doctorate, as did Bernard Yassaway, my friend. He went to a community college, college any way you choose. Getting in, no big deal, you got to complete. 1 out of 3 you start, don't complete. And by the way, miss, let's clear the air one last time. Odds are we'll never see one another again. You buy, go to college, you'll be made, you born alive. Almost 3 out of 4 four-year college graduates tracked from 2014 to this past June of 2015. Almost 3/4 were unemployed or working unrelated. Flipping Big Macs after 4 years of college is not a career placement statistic. You don't go to college for that. Nothing wrong with flipping Big Macs. If that's your choice, you don't go to college expecting to start a career and wind up waiting tables. Why? No jobs, never before in the history of this country is greater opportunity presenting itself than that which is being presented to you. High-tech, allied health business. I'm going to tell you what you already know. Miss, let's go right here. What town am I in? Blackstone, Millville, what town? Thank you. Blackstone. No jobs. Is the best cosmetologist in Blackstone, the best nuclear physicist, the best Harley-Davidson technician, he or she, are they looking for work? Of course not. The best don't look for work. Work seeks them out. How does it work out there? Sir, you gotta produce. I have college students. What's easy? Where's the money? Yes, get away from me. What's easy, sir? Your teachers blow their brains out trying to connect with you for relatively little bread. You want to make a difference in this world, sir? My opinion, you're entitled to disagree. Personal freedom in America. That's why everybody comes here. Teach. There's no higher calling. My opinion. Sir, you want to make a lot of money? Forget it. Go into business. A lot of quick, easy ways to make money in this country. Just be prepared. You may have to hurt a lot of people. 1 out of 3 don't make it through high school. 1 out of 3 don't make it through the first year of college. 3 out of 4 college graduates can't find a career-related position. You're told to go to college and be made. I got to give you this little dose of reality. Sir, you had a tough night last night. Cat's sleeping on me. We're going to let it go. It's the first time in 28 years in this building I've had to stop that way, but I understand. I understand. Some people just don't care. They don't care about themselves. They're certainly not going to respect me. How would you feel if you were working in an audience and you see the cat in the back nodding out on you, sir? How would you feel? I don't like it. So I'm going to tell them one more time. If you can't act like a mature young adult, sir, be a man. Show character. Get up. Get up. I'm not offended. Don't you be offended. How would you feel, sir? Cat's laying in the back. How would you feel? No, I don't like it, man. So you act like a human being or you split. End of story. Hey, big man, I want to tell you a couple of times I see you, I work the audience, I see the eyes. God bless you, man. When I was a kid, laboring, I was 18 years old, I had arms like yours. I could lift 85-pound bags of cement. Now, I'm telling you your face, friend, I'm at Home Depot. They call them baby bags. I used to carry 285s, I can't bring the arm up, sir, 285s here. I was never a tough guy. I caught some severe beatings. I mean, I gave some beatings. I was in local quad. You know what it takes to make it on the street? You just got to be crazy. I caught some good beatings in my life. I'm not talking about the knuckleheads out in front of Blackstone. I'm talking about on Arthur Avenue in the Bronx, on the Hill in Providence, in the famed combat zone. I was there in '61. They called us in from all over New England to go up against the Tongs. See, the Chinese have got more gang members on the streets than ever. I went with black, Hispanic, Irish, and Italian. All again. That's how the combat zone got its name in '61. We went in to wipe out the Tongs. I know about jamming. So I'm telling you, forget that's nonsense. I was a strong man. I could dig ditches all day. Today, I dig for 15 minutes. I got to sit down for 45, drink an Ensure, drink some water. You inspire me. My son, when he was 18, he had one lift of 320. What are you benching? God bless you. That's world class. You know what I was struggling with, sir? Now, I was powerful. I could never bench 250. I benched my own weight once, 212. I was 14, 15 years old. Sir, that's all going. I'm done. back's gone, hair's gone, legs that. It's my life's behind me. Your life's in front of you, man. You can choose to act like a human being, or you can be a nitwit, a knucklehead, a numbskull. It's got nothing to do with you being black or white. You don't respect other people, no one's going to respect you. I respect the work. You don't get arms that big by exercising once in a while. You do it all the time. It's called atrophy. You don't use it, it shrinks. My arm's like that. It once was like that. Sir, I was struggling last week at Home Depot. They're called baby bags. Have you ever seen them? They're this big. They're 40 pounds. I'm done. My life's behind me, man. Thank you for acting like a human being. Keep pumping. Well, I mean, it takes a lot to get there. It takes a lot to maintain. But let me tell you, when it's all gone, and it is gone in my life, no sympathy. I had it once. I'm done, man. You get it? I don't have it. I'm ashamed. Got all construction guys around me, and I'm trying to do work. I tore the rotator cuff. Sir, you can go to college anywhere you choose and live your dream. First, you gotta get hip to the plate. 3 out of 4 people in this country today, it's getting worse, not better, hate what they do. Now, I want every one of you to think for a minute. When was the last time, other than the Dudeks, sir, other than Duchamps, your great teachers, Miss, when was the last time? Think about the course you hate the most in this building. Think about taking Miss, please, Miss, right now for a second. I'm not here to play games with you. Want to sleep? I buy that. Get up. Hey, man, I'm not interested in listening. Go to the nurse's office and sleep. You don't lay down in an auditorium full of people. Number one, it's rude. It's extremely immature. No, I don't like it, Miss. I like the way you're acting out like a mature young adult. I blow my brains out every day in the hope that I can help you avoid making the mistakes. When you go to college, you're not out there. No one cares. You've got to produce. If you don't produce, you'll either quit or be fired. I've been fired. Here they put the loser in the back of the class. I was always in the back of the class. Out on the street, the loser doesn't finish at all. No one wants to be around someone who's, I'm using polite terms. What are you doing, man? Hey, I'm getting by, baby. That's cool. Get by, guys. Ladies, I'm talking to all of you. They go nowhere. They do nothing. I wrote that for, sir. When was the last time? Think about the course you hate the most at Blackstone Mill. Think about taking that subject 8 hours a day the rest of your life. Because that's how most people live. That's how I live, sir. Tell me to my face, friend. Tell me the last time we do that, leave Duchamp, your teachers out of it. When was the last time, sir? You're seniors. You're all facing reality now. When was the last time you asked people, sir, hey, how's the job going, man? When was the last time someone got in your face and said, God, I love my job. I can't wait to go to work every day. Tell me the last time you heard that, sir.
Why not?
I'm sorry.
Never.
Thank you for the truth. She told me she never said, I love you. She doesn't remember, to her family. Go home and say, I love you, to a family member. See how much power you can create by demonstrating love. You said you want respect from the teachers here. They kill them. You do, miss. Well, not manana, today. You find a teacher and say, hey, man, you're my teacher. I know you care about me. I really respect you. You'll see how that teacher reacts. Sir, friendship, you said, when I said is friendship important, people never have lived their entire lives never having friends, true friends. You said you want to have one true friend in your life. When was the last time you said, you're my friend, you're my friend? Do you have a problem saying it, sir? Well, then do it. Not manana, today. And if the cat, if he or she laughs at you, you go like this, it means get away from me. It means I don't care. Because you've learned the hard way, they're not your friend. So why would you give friendship to those who don't care? What's your name, big man? I never got it. Rich. I can't do it. Rich, I love Rich, yeah. He's with, everywhere I move, he's in my face. Rich, I'm not telling you what you don't know. Life is all about attitude. You want to be a wise guy? I wrote the book. You're going nowhere, friend. You want to be successful. Think! Use your brain. What would you do all day long the rest of your life? Every one of you are going to work for free, for stupid, for nada. There's no such thing as a good or bad career. Miss, you, no disrespect to your family. I respect your family more than, no disrespect to Mr. Duda. I respect him more than he knows. I respect friendship, miss. And people say, oh, unfortunate, your life, and you went through these things, and the house burnt. Hey, let's establish ground rules. I believe I'm the luckiest cat that has ever lived on this planet. Let it go. Miss, your mother's not going to do your job. Your teacher isn't going to do your job. Imagine me getting in someone's face. You know what, miss? You should, as a woman today, you should pursue a career in high technology. It's ludicrous, miss. I don't know anything about you, except pretty smile on her face. She's looking in my eyes, showing respect. Miss, I'm not telling you what you don't know. Socrates said 400 years before the birth of Jesus Christ, the unexamined life is not worth living. Knowledge. He said, know thyself. You've got to figure out one for yourself. What would you do all day long, every day, the rest of your life? Nada, for nothing. You know how people live in this world. You said it to me. Blue Monday, I lived it. Terrible Tuesday. Wednesday is hump day. I've got to get over the hump. Thursday stinks. Thank God it's Friday. Miss, we got restaurants named after the Georgia American War Week. Miss, I went back to school. I didn't know about dyslexia in those days or ADD, or none of my disabilities. I hired tutors. I can't sit in the class the way you do. I'm all over the place. Great teachers told me over the years, but I just wasn't. I was a dean's list student. I was going to be a great teacher. I was going to make a difference. I come from a family of teachers, but I just couldn't stay focused. End of story. I quit. I was working construction. I went to school, nights, part-time, got the GED, went to college, did very well with tutors, not in the classroom. He said to me, then it's true today, you want to make a lot of money? I told him, man, I'm going to tell you again, sir, forget about education as a career. You want to make a difference in people's lives, sir? My opinion. You can disagree. We're in America. Personal freedom. I love America. We do not have a problem in this country with drugs, alcoholism, deviant behavior, crime, and divorce rate. Those are symptoms. We have a problem with the truth. People doing things to impress others. No one cares what you're doing. Do it to be true to yourself. Hard enough trying to be who you are, never mind who you are. Oh, I lived those words. Sir, we brought Michelin tires into the area. A business I was involved with, Dayton Tires, one of the biggest importers in the country. I made a lot of money. I hated every second of what I did. I bought cars, clothes, boats, homes, this and that. Then, sir, I lied and cheated on the love of my life. Do you think that's cool, sir? Well, Hollywood says it's cool. You have what's called a mistress or a woman that you have a sugar daddy. Well, miss, when you go to the movies, you see that crap. They sensationalize. Miss, one out of two kids grow up in this country. They don't know what their own blood is. I loved my wife. I didn't respect her. People don't love one another anymore. Hey, you turn me on, let's boogie. Can you imagine marrying someone because they turn you on superficially? Hey, Sarah, I mean, you're not children. I talk to you as adults. That fades real quick. If that's all you've got cooking in your pot, you're going to have to find another one. You turn me on, let's boogie. That's over now. You turn me on, let's boogie. Our society's a mess because people aren't dealing with the truth, core values. You marry black, white, purple, he, she, or it. Whatever that means to you, sir. I don't know about political correctness. I'm apolitical. You marry someone who shares your core values. That's called getting leverage. Gamble's talking about getting leverage on life. I want leverage. I loved her. Beautiful woman. But that's not why I married her. She said she did right because it was the right thing to do. I argued with her at the time. I said, the only people who do things right are those who are afraid of doing wrong and paying the price. I was a fool. It took me some years to figure it out. Easier to do the right thing today and reap the rewards that life has to bestow upon us than to do wrong and pay the price. You think Bernard Madoff, he stole $65 billion. His son, my son's age, you know what I'm talking about, sir, the Ponzi guy. A few years ago, he stole $65 billion to Wall Street broker. His son, how much? You don't know. Hey, sir. No, don't, sir, don't do that. No, now you make me feel guilty. Sir, you got to get hip to the world. Who knows about Bernard Madoff, the Wall Street dual master's degrees in account from Stanford and Wharton School of Business. Miss, well, who knew about someone said, sir, you know about, he busted out his own family, sir. His son hung himself. You can't make this stuff up. His son said, "Oh, the Squatslove, I mean, the disgrace my father's brought on my family. They're going to make a movie. I think Johnny Depp is going to play, whoever, it doesn't matter. They call Johnny Depp America's new Brando. I buy that, sir. I'm an old movie guy. Don't go to the movies anymore. We can't afford it, sir. My wife and I used to go to the movies. 2 movies. Gravy Western, feature flick, cartoons, newsreels, coming attractions, popcorn, juju beads, and a soda. The 2 of us dressed to the nines. This is the late 50s, early 60s, sir. The Lowe's State, the Strand. We used to go to the Paramount on 45th Street, New York City. You felt like $1 million. It was under a deuce, sir. Under a deuce. I'm not that old. Hey, sir, now you go to a cinder block outhouse, and you see how people are dressed in sweatpants and everything, and the popcorn's $8, sir. I bought cars for $10 in my life. You see why they say you don't want to do business with old people? Because that's the fix I've got in my life. Today you go to a movie, 2 people. I don't know, sir, how you can take a date to a movie. It's $40. I don't understand this world today. I try, sir. Now, we don't go to the movies, sir. My wife rents Netflix. Sir, I love my wife. I didn't respect our family. I lied and cheated. Let's cut to the chase. I live Blue Monday, terrible Tuesday, Wednesday's hump day, Thursday sucks. Thank God it's Friday. Don't be a fool. What you want out of a career, you want to love what you do. When was the last time, sir, other than a teacher, someone told you they love their job? It's been a while. The truth will set you free. No teacher, no family member, no friend has the right to tell you what you can't do. I'm telling you what your great teachers, your loving family, and if you have one good friend, if you do, many don't, what a good friend will tell you. Man, you can do whatever you want if you want it bad enough. Build a career based on introspective thought. What would you do, sir? Every day, the rest of your life, you're going to work. Most people fall into a career, I did, that they're ill-suited to. They diffuse their energies, and they escape with junk. I never mess with junk. Booze, I don't like the taste of booze. Sir, do you think Budweiser cares about you? They want your money. I'm not against drinking. I don't like the taste of liquor. I don't like being around people drinking. They get crazy, you gotta give them a slap. It stays, and then someone pulls out a piece and puts a cap in their head. I've seen it. It scares me. Sir, you drink until you drop. Don't you dare get in a car. You do not have the right to drink and drive. Mickey Mouse Town, I live in Barrington, 4 boys in the last couple of years dead drunk driving. Shame on a society that tolerates it. You're going to party down Friday night. I get it, sir. Drink until you drop. Don't get the cup. And sir, by the way, if you have one friend in your life who's had a few pops and the fool wants to drive or she wants to drive, get their keys, throw them in the air in a parking lot somewhere. It'll take them an hour or 2 crawling on their hands and knees to find the keys, and maybe they'll be a little better able to drive the car. Scares me, sir. Scares me what is happening in this country. A dear friend of mine told me he does not go. He's a single man at 70 years old. Stephen Cruddy said, "Hey, Mark, I don't go to movies. Used to go every night." He said, "Well, you know, I was a movie guy. I used to go to movies as I traveled, sometimes twice in between lectures." Sir, he said, "Mark, I'm afraid I go into a movie theater. There's 1,000 people. Some lunatic runs in with a bomb, kills it. Could happen. It has happened." He said, "I'm thinking I'm going to start going to the movies." No joke, sir. It made me laugh. He said, "Mark, I'm figuring to get leverage. I'll go on a Wednesday afternoon at 11 a.m. Sir, there's no one in the movie theater at that time. Well, that's leverage. Now, chances are some lunatic isn't going to come in and wipe the one person, him, that's sitting there out. So it's a tough world, sir. Much tougher for you than for me. Keys to success. I bought everything money could buy. Do you mind if I touch your hand, miss? Put your hand down. You feel it?
Yeah.
That's a used garment from Savers. Do you think 1,000, 2,000, today 5,000 for a Brioni? Do you think a Brioni feels any different on your back? Oh, absolutely not. Do you think a Rolex feels it? This is a $25 Timex, and you see it? Do you think a $10,000 Rolex feels any different than this watch? Oh, absolutely not. Oh, is that bold? When I say bold in a pot, she says, "Hey, Mr. M, I bet it still tells time. Now here's the truth. This $25 Timex keeps perfect time. Nothing wrong with having things. We spend a disproportionate amount of time in America pursuing things. Things can't satisfy us. If that were true, Justin Bieber, Whitney Houston, God, I loved her. Do you know how Whitney died? Anyone know? How? Well, no, that's not. She was jumped up. She drowned, honey. Read the autopsy report. Her lungs were full of soap. Soapy, I know you know, and I'm not telling you what you don't know. She was so jacked up. The drugs didn't kill her. She slipped under. They say 3 breaths per lung. She took 6 breaths, miss, to drown in her own pool. I loved Elvis Presley before your time. Miss, I loved him. I saw him twice. Miss, do you think he was a happy guy? He shot dope every day of his life from 59 to 77. How many John Belushi, River Phoenix, Kurt Cobain? Remember Kurt? Took a double-barrel shotgun in his mouth, tied the string to the things, to his boot, and put the shotgun in his mouth, and blew his head off. Hit the top of the charts with Nirvana that day. Miss, do you think he was a happy guy? God rest his soul. How many names? Michael Jackson, huh? Do you think he was a happy guy? He's dead at 50. He was maybe the greatest one of the greatest entertainers that ever lived. He said before his death, I never had a happy day as a young man. They treat me like an adult. As an adult, they treat me like a little boy. How sad that we continue to buy the lie, go to college, make a lot of money, have a lot of things. If money were the answer, this society would be cooking. Bernard Madoff stole $65 billion. I can't even write the word. Huh? Was he a happy guy? He's rotting the rest of his life away in a joint. Rightfully so. He stole from thousands of people. That's cool. It's cool to be nice. It's cool to be kind. It's cool to say I love you. It's cool to say I respect you, my teacher. It's cool for you, not me, man. I'm done. I'm the old guy, the old dog. You're the new blood, the young blood. It's cool for you to redefine what's cool. Stop looking in the magazines, comparing yourself to that which can never be. And you're hip to the play. She knew it when I said it. Those models that you're trying to look like, they don't look like that. It's all lies. Companies want you to buy things that you don't need with money you don't have, the credit cards. I've done it. Montel Williams, he's a multimillionaire. Should be ashamed of himself, touting workday loans. $1,000 guaranteed, yeah, pay 266% juice. It's a shameful sort of society that has allowed itself to degenerate so low. Keys to success, career key number 1 is need fulfillment. What do you want out of a career? I haven't worked, not being a wife, those days are long past. I'm just telling the truth. Haven't worked one day in the last 39 years. I was going to put a cap in my head. My wife got rid of the clothes, the cars, the boats, the jewelry, everything. She said, I love you so hard, it hurts, get out. She said, you're disgracing our family. Our children know you're keeping a woman. I told a woman, she said, wait. I said, oh, I love my family, my wife, but I need a little escape. I'm not a happy cat. She said, what do you want? I said, no, I want to play once in a while. She said, well, then pay me. I paid her, I had the money. It meant nothing to me. I told my wife, I said, what do you mean, over? I love you. It meant nothing to me. She said, okay, stop, right there, stop. She said, now we'll reverse it. I am screwing around on you. You find out and you say, Joan, I love you to death. What are you doing screwing around on me? And she said, I respond, my retort to you is, hey, Mark, I love you, but I just need this little dalliance on the side. It means nothing to me. I said, oh, Joe, cut the crap. That's entirely different. Do you see what hypocrisy does in a relationship? Do you see what hypocrisy does in a society? It's all right for a politician to lie and cheat, to steal? No. Be true to yourself. You don't want people stealing from you, cheating. Do you want your significant other someday to lie and cheat on you? Well, then don't do it. I did it. I was going to put a cap in my head. Do you think happy people contemplate or in fact commit suicide? No. We we gotta end this,
Well, you got plenty of time, Mr. Miller, just stretch my leg. You got 20 minutes. 20 minutes, all right, guys? You can do another 20?
Mr. Duchamp brags to me year after year, we spend time. He's a friend of mine. I've only fought with him, sir, and we've had it out battles, more time. This day, he was kind enough to figure a way to give me, so we can finish up, sir, and then I shut up. And one at a time, the way she did it, she speaks, we all shut up and listen. We can have a little Q&A. That's when I learned. I learned from him, listening to him. I learned from my granddaughters. Sir, I did not pull the cap off. It occurred to me my whole life had been a lie. I'm no tough guy. I was trying to be a gangster as a kid. Ridiculous stuff. I wanted to be a big schmuck going with fancy cars. It's all nonsense. Sir, I started to speak. John Abati brought me to Youth Correctional Facility. 1977, I started speaking the Youth Correctional Facility where I had been. Prisons sent me to colleges. Colleges, Sally, sent me to you. Sir, listen, I have not worked one day in the last 39 years. By definition, you all know the definition of work. Those tasks we must perform to provide a means by which we support ourselves. Food, clothing, and shelter. Most everyone has to work. If, my friend, you think, get inside yourself, introspective thought, what can I do? What would I do for free? If money weren't an issue, what would I do all day with passion and commitment? Most people, hey, how you doing, babe? I'm getting by, man. Sir, this is nasty to say to you, but you know where I am in my life. I'm at the end. I'd rather be dead today than to go back for a moment living the way I once lived. I don't like it with Mr. Duchamp, with you, sir. I love it. Look, there's 100+ people you can hear a pin drop. That's not about me, sir. That's about you. Respecting Duchamp, respecting your family, respecting yourself. You can't give what you don't possess. Now, I give him the skidole, the bread. I can't give my money away. Now, I take the money back. Now, I can give it to someone. Now, I give it to him. You'll never create happiness if you don't possess it. You can't give love to others if you don't love on yourself. You can't give respect to your teachers if you don't respect. How can you give friendship to a friend if you don't like yourself? I gotta be this size, I gotta be that size, I gotta lighten my skin, darken my skin, straighten my hair. It's all lies. You don't owe anybody dust. We, human beings, owe it to ourselves to find our true calling. Be the best cosmetologist. Nuclear, I don't know, miss. I assure you the best Harley-Davidson technician in this area, and I'll say it tomorrow in some other area, it's true, ain't looking for work. The best don't look for work. I've got guys working at my house who tell me there's drywall men, plasterers, carpenters, electricians, Billy Van. Mark, I've got years of work booked ahead of me. Adelino Almeida told me, he said he's got a year solid. I said, Adelino, what do you tell people when they say they want you to build a custom kitchen? You tell them a year from now. He says, I tell them, if you want me, you're going to have to wait. I said, do they? He said, well, no, some, say thanks, no thanks. He said, you're told, miss, there is no work. I've got people at our home that's being rebuilt right now as we speak who tell me they can't find enough skilled people. The jobs are out there. You need skills, academic, what's your career plans, miss? Just from the hip. Well, miss, I'm not going to tell you what you don't know. They are paying 50 large, that's $50,000 bonuses in hospitals all over the country because no one wants to be a nurse because now it's a 4-year degree, 5 years in some places, URI, where my daughter was in her 3rd year of nursing until she could, miss, I'm talking specifically to you. You ain't never going to look for a nursing job ever in your life, and I'll stand by that one, and you know it's true. Do you know what the placement rate is at Rhode Island College for nursing? 100%. Get with the program, man. She wants to be a nurse. Miss, I don't want to rain on your parade, but my wife was pharmacy tech at Marion Hospital for 35 years. My son's general surgeon up in Miles Memorial Lincoln Medical Center. My daughter, Miss, October 2nd, 1992, her third year at the University of Rhode Island College of Nursing. She said, Dad, I'm so fat I can't live this way any longer. My daughter weighed a little less than 100 pounds, called dysmorphia. Oh, I know you know. Think Oprah's a happy, I love Oprah, it's clear the air. She's not rich. She's rich. She's a billionaire many times over. All she does is give. She doesn't talk like the Don in the third person about, I am going to beat you. I'm the smartest, but pompous, self-aggrandizing, arrogant elitist. Born on third base, spends his life thinking he hit the triple. You said, geez, you shouldn't say that. It's being taped. Read his book. When he graduated from Wharton, his father gave him a check for $1 million. He said, go make your fortune. Some people are born on third base and they spend their lives thinking they hit the triple. Nothing wrong with that, as long as you don't think you're better than those who never got a chance to swing the bat. Miss, do you think Oprah, she recently stated that she blew up from 220 to 220, from 120, she's back up to overreduced. Do you think she's a happy person right now with her eating disorder? I don't think so. My daughter committed herself, Miss, the next day, overpaid, you know, for a lot of women that go to Renfrew, RENFREW. It's the only clinic in America that has dealt effectively with women's eating disorders. You go there, it's called Last Stop, Germantown section of Philly. You know, Sally, you've heard Renfrew. My daughter committed herself to Renfrew dysmorphia. It's an internalization of an external life. She saw herself as gross. She said, Dad, I'm going to Renfrew. I said, what are you doing? She said, I committed myself to Renfrew. Miss, some of those women died there. She beat it, and that's why I brought it into the lecture years ago. When she came out, she said, Dad, you spend your days telling people, be the best they can. I never felt I could compete with the best. You know, every one of you know right here, right now, who is number one in this class. They rank every class. You don't compete with the best. Winners never compete with one another. They compete within their own being. Michael Jordan said he never watched the score. He just played until his heart was ready to burst. That's, sir, you know today, if you're on your game, or polite terms, sir, if you're slacking off. They had me last Monday night. Imagine, I never swung a bat in my life except at someone. I don't know anything about sports. They had me, Todd Stoffler, Scott Schoonmaker, superintendent of North Branford, had me speak to all 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th grade sports participants' parents. What did I speak about? Sports? I don't know anything about sports. I know why people play sports, to have fun, to build relationships, because the quality of life is directly related to the quality of the relationships that we have. Do you have respect? Do you have honor? Do you have friendship? Do you have love in your life? Sports, it's a metaphor for all of those things that are important. Teamwork, giving credit to the other guy. That's what we talked about. Had a wonderful session, Miss. Me talking about sports, it's ludicrous. Never played any sport. Miss, Katie came out, she said, I never felt I could compete. She said, we were taught never to compare ourselves. Oh, I'm begging you, Miss, if you're the only one here today, don't you ever compare yourself to another human being. I've done that. Ooh, Tony Robbins, he gets $150,000 to speak to you for an hour. He makes more in an hour than I make in 10 years. I'm not a money man. I'm very proud to tell you, Miss, I begged my wife for forgiveness. I changed again. I started to speak. We're a working class family. And maybe in a week, we'll have our home back. New home, same place. I love her more today than ever before. And I'm sharing this with you. We have problems. I'm going to share this with you. Everyone has problems. We're going to be celebrating this coming May 30th. We were married on May 30th, 1967. It's going to be our 49th anniversary. That shows you that I respect the La Familia, that you respect the family. And that's goodness. But I don't want you sitting there, miss, thinking, oh, Mainella's got this idyllic relationship with Joan, Mark and Joan. We, miss, are human beings. She has problems. I have problems. Everyone has problems. I am proud to share with my audience, miss. Our family's stronger than ever. My son beat inoperable cancer 13 years ago. I'm crying in front of UMass Medical Center. Just came out of first operation, open heart. He said, Dad, I've got a 7.5 pound lymphomic non-Hodgkin type tumor. Inoperable. I fell to the ground. I'm crying. He said, Dad, stop acting like a fool. The strength you bring to the audience, help me die with dignity, you'll leave me alone. Ooh, miss, you talk about a cold shot. Grace of God, 6 months of chemo, 6 months of radiation. My son's cancer-free, miss. I'm the luckiest cat alive. My wife took me back. Katie beat the anorexia, the bulimia. You can beat whatever monkey is on your back. Everybody's got a monkey. Could be booze, drugs, alcohol, deviant behavior, crime, aberrant. Miss, Katie said, I will never compare myself again. I've compared myself. Can't do it. I'm doing the best I can for you as Mark Mainella. You want me to be Tony Robbins, the world's greatest speaker? You bought the wrong ticket. Get up, get out. You gotta end it. Miss, Katie gave me the finger. Now, we do not swear in our home. It's just not tolerated. She said, Dad, I'll never compare myself. 2 months later, she came up. Joan and I, my wife and I, had cried, prayed, and did everything else we could in support of Katie. She did it, not I, not my wife. Change comes from within. You can choose to be a better person today, or you can choose to be a nitwit. That's up to you. You've been very kind. Miss, she went just like this. She said, read that, Dad. It was cold. It was almost Christmas. She went in October 3rd. I said, what does that mean? She said, what do you see, Dad? I said, geez, Kate, no time for, I see your fingerprint. She said, you got it. She said, you always compared me to Brother Mark. I used to do this, hon. I did it. I did it. I didn't do it with intent to destroy her self-esteem. I did it. Kate, look at Brother Mark's grades. You can do that, hon. I tickle her just like that. And she laughed. But she was crying inside. Hey, sir, next time you knucklehead, numbskull, your brother, your father, your mother, your cousin Tony, you give them the finger. They'll never screw with your mind again. You know me, I'm over the top, so I'm crying. Katie, please, Kate, please, I'm sorry, I love you. She said, Dad, I love you to death, I forgive you. Don't ever do it again. See, sir, I'm not that good a man. I got that right in my side, that thorn that I did to my daughter years ago. I'm not as good a man as my words. I try, sir. Katie never went back to URI for nursing. Miss, she got an associate's degree in community college. She's a surgical tech at Rhode Island Hospital Orthopedics. She works 10-hour days. That's what I was going to say to you, hon. I work at a lot of culinary programs, great careers, and I align it with medicine. You know, hon, that you're going to work every other weekend. You're going to work shifts, third shift. You're going to work my son's weekends, holidays, hospitals, restaurants do not close. Now, I'm not raining on your parade. I'm just putting you hip to the play. You're never going to look for work. Keys to success. Be about the truth. Find something you love doing. She's already done it. Now, look at as many different schools. My money says start at a community college, ace your courses, transfer on to the senior state school, and then if you want a master's in nursing, then you go to the school that's got the best master's program in the country. You know, it's all up to you. Katie loves her work. My son, I believe, loves his work. I believe he could have been a very, 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 like Jesse James out on the West Coast, a world-class mechanic, fabricator. But that's another story. I love my work. My wife and I are going through some changes right now with this fire thing. I love being with Mr. Duchamp. I'm going to pass out a card. It'll take you 30 seconds. You tell the truth. He reads every comment I do. I liked it. I didn't like it. It was good. It was bad. I'm sorry Duchamp brought you in. This program stunk. You got 30 seconds, then I've got a very special presentation for my young, old friend. God bless, good health. Good luck to you. Have a good day. You embarrass me. I don't play for applause. It makes me, I try to connect Give it up to yourselves for being an outstanding audience today. Give it up right now! 30 seconds, press down, pass them in to Mr. Duchamp. 30 seconds, guys. Top to bottom, press down, comment. I liked it, I didn't like it, was good or bad. Arrow, what's arrow? Oh, I like it, I like it. If you can pass to that, thank you for the thank you. Pass to the back row. Anyone need a pencil? All set? And you know, I gotta protect myself, Mr. Duchamp, we don't have enough. If you can take some. These are words I stole from Mr. Duchamp himself and others. These words will blow. Press down. These words will blow your faces out. What is success? To know one life is breathed easier because you've lived. The Optimist Creed. Be as enthusiastic about your friend's success as you are about your own. To know one life is breathed easier because you have lived. To make a difference daily in the lives of others. That is the ultimate giver. When Mr. Duchamp dismisses you, these words are available to you. He will have extra copies in his office. I've got a presentation for him in a moment, so please, these are available when he dismisses you. My handouts are available. I work strictly by referral. They're down front here. If you want to take one. Two knuckleheads getting a fist fight in front of this building, guys, today. I'll read about it in tomorrow's Providence Journal. I assure you, sir.
They better not get a fist fight this afternoon.
You heard what Duchamp just said. No one is going to write one column, sir, 1 inch, in the local media that Mr. Duchamp brought to old friend who spoke at Institute to Blackstone Millville, that the senior class was respectful, articulate, acted like mature young adults. No one's going to write that story, sir. It doesn't sell papers. So I suggest you let your parents know what happened here today. That a guest speaker came in from out of town, that the students were outstanding. It doesn't sell papers. Please pass them in.
I'm going to give you a little bit of history here. There's a few students there whose parents sat in this audience.
Kills.
Guys, once you're done filling out, I'm going to ask you to do me a favor. I'm going to ask you to separate it, okay? You're going to take the white copies and send it to the aisle side. Take the other copies and send it to the wall side. Does that make sense? So white to your left, yellow to your right, once you're done. And the person at the end of each row collect yellow or white. Yo.
Yeah, whatever you want. Sir.
Yeah, like you want to be a Holly Davidson
Holly
tenant.
Davidson guy.
You want to be a pro hockey
He
player.
uses those, I look at the comments, he uses those go to guidance comments.
Make connections.
They can follow up, hey, the guy's looking for a career. in
White left, yellow right.
Testing 1, 2. Hey, folks, I got to tell you something, man. Today, when I told you up front, he introduced me. I'm not on my game. I'm really struggling. Having said that to you, I've talked with Mr. Duchamp for years. I'm going to call. I don't know that it'll do any good, miss. I'm going to call the Providence Journal when I get home. I've got to go to the doctor's. I'll be home probably 2-ish. And I'm going to say to the reporter that writes the education beat, God, I had a fabulous session at Blackstone Millville with the class of 2016. I'd like to tell you about it, so maybe you could write. Now that's as much, miss, as I can do, because I'm not a man of power. Will they write it? If they do, I'm going to send it to him directly. What I can ask of you, miss, to do is just tell your parents today the truth. Tell your friends, how good is this school? Duchamp cares. Duda cares, your teachers. Sir, who ultimately is responsible for your day? Jeez, man, that kills me, what he just did. That's the difference between winners and losers. I'm going to feed him a little bit. I'm starting to feed him. Who's responsible, sir, in your life today, but every day I'm going to tell him for what you do or don't, the good, the bad. Miss, I have college students. Well, the sociological implications, the overall implications coming from a dysfunction. I'm poverty. Oh, crap, miss. Man goes like this. I couldn't ask the question. He went like this. I said, is it Mr. Duchamp who's responsible? Your English teacher? He goes like this. Would you stand up, sir? I don't know your name, I really don't care. You demonstrate to me, well, I don't, we'll never see one another again. You demonstrate to me, sir, just what you said, that you get the play. Winners take ownership for their lives daily, minute by minute. You screw up, hey, I shouldn't have done it, man, I'm sorry. You move on. You succeed, you take pride in your success. If you try and take personal responsibility every day of your life, you're going to live every day as a winner. Even when you fail, you'll have the satisfaction of knowing you tried your hardest. People live their entire lives never, ever having tried, just getting by. I admire and respect what you just did in my face. And by the way, this ain't Jerry Springer. I don't know this cat from dust. I'd rather spit than watch that degenerate. And if this ever gets on a national news broadcast, I'm saying it to the man's face. I think Jerry Springer is a low-life degenerate. That's my opinion, and I have the right, as anyone in America has the right to express their opinion. My wife says, you teach best when stay away from the negative. Well, I believe he is contributing to the nastiness in our society by promoting outrageous lies. There's no such thing, Miss. Miss, you know that what he shows, it's all staged, it's all scripted and everything. It's all, they know when to fight, the camera hits right there. Sir, thank you for telling the truth. Give it up to this man for telling the truth. I want to talk about something that's dear to my heart, and today I'm really not prepared. I only have two. Mr. Dudek will give an absentia. My old young friend, Mr. Duchamp. This starfish is made by a gentleman by the name of Peter Wallach. I couldn't care less that he's a white male. I couldn't care less that he's Jewish. He says, don't use my name. I really couldn't care less that he happens to be one of the most successful jewelers in the world. He's one of the largest. Tanya Creations out of East Providence, Rhode Island. Sir, he says, don't use my name. I've got to use his name. I can't have Mr. Duchamp. You thinking it's a gift from Mark Mainella. For about 30 years now, sir, he has sponsored this award. The award is significant. Make a difference, one life at a time. As good as you've been today, not good enough, and here's why. The average American, you will today, miss, I will, hear 20 negative statements from each one. You can't do this, you can't do that. Dumbbell, lose the color of your skin. Where'd you get that outfit? Look at the hairdo on her. People spew filth, they talk trash. Why do people bully? Because they're weak of character, they're insecure, they're immature. They don't feel good about themselves. You know, miss, I'm not telling you. They don't want you to feel good about yourself. It's not the color of your hair. I called them when we were in the 50s, growing up, busters. Today, we hear people talking about, don't diss me, man. It's all the same game. Stay away from any teacher, family member, friend who's putting you down. Surround yourself with loving, caring, giving, sharing, productive human beings who take personal responsibility. This is about making a difference. The wind, the tide, the current blew all the starfish up on the beach. The hot summer sun's baking the starfish to death. Miss, they're all gonna die. Jaded human beings walking down the street. Poor man, the beach. I'm too fat, I'm too short, I'm too tall, I'm too small. I can't save them all. Why bother? Why try? No one can save all those starfish. One little boy, miss. He, like this gentleman, he says to himself, stupid, my shepherd, what am I going to do here, man? No one's trying to save one starfish. Can you change the world, sir? It's a moot point. I don't know. You made a difference in my life today, acting the way you acted. Little boy bends over. He's throwing starfish as fast as he can, sour, sick, rotten old man in the kid's face. Hey, you little fool, you know the type. He's going to beat this kid up. My family's better than yours. The color of my skin, my ethnic background. I'm bigger than you, stronger than you. You fool, you can't save them all. You think you make a difference? Little boy looks up at the old man. He says, stop this, man. Hold on for a minute. What are you saying this for? Watch. He bends down, picks up a starfish, tosses it back in the ocean. He smiles at the old cat. He says, see, mister, maybe you don't get it. I made a difference for that one. Can you change the world? Maybe you can, sir. I don't know. It's a moot point. You can make a difference by going home tonight and saying, I love you to a family member. She told me she doesn't remember the last time she did it. I appreciate her honesty, her character, because people lie. Sir, you told me you want respect from the teachers. Go back to the classroom now and say, hey, you're my teacher. I respect you. Sir, you said friendship is important to you. Find a friend today and make that commitment. They laugh at you. You didn't lose a friend because they weren't your friend in the first place. Move on. This is not a gift from me. This is a gift from Peter Wallach, my friend at Tanya Creations, CEO. God bless him. One to you, Mr. Duchamp, you and your family, who I've come to know and respect professionally, personally. Every year when I talk to you a couple of times a year, you make me think about what I've tried to live my life like. The teacher's teacher. The teacher's teacher cares. This guy cares. Give it up to him.
Give it up to my friend right now.
Questions, Mr. Mel? We got a few minutes before first lunch or anything?
Absolutely, sir.
He doesn't, let me tell you, he hounds me every year. I need more time, need more time.
We fight every year in the
But it worked out well with PSAT today, so I want to thank you all for sitting here for 2 hours. 2 hours, and being the great audience you have. He asked me, how was this class? And I said, I won't lie to you. I said, it's been a great year, it's been a great class. So far, things are going great. Looking forward to a very, I'm sure for you, very quick fun year, which will be, I mean, think about it, we're at Halloween almost, and then Thanksgiving, and then Christmas, and then, so enjoy it, like he said, enjoy it, because 28 years later, maybe you'll be up here. I don't know, Mr. Mel, 28 years, you got 28 more years? But it goes by like that. So enjoy the last, few months. Any questions for me?
Questions, comments, thoughts?
Yeah.
I have very few answers. I have to beg off, but I certainly attempt. Miss, the floor is yours.
Favorite book?
A favorite book, God, I reread because I didn't know about the dyslexia as a kid. Socrates never wrote anything. He spoke. Plato, what we know of Socrates was written by Plato, who then taught others, in particular Aristotle. I'm a student of Socrates. A favorite book, I struggle with the Bible, the Quran, with a Jewish text. I have such problems absorbing, but I would say any book that lifts the spirit, and it doesn't have to be, steeped to Christian, or I see so many similarities, Miss, in all of the world's religions. They all talk about the unmoved mover. But by the way, people say to me, I don't believe in anything. If that allows you to feel good about yourself and live a quality life, none of my business. So I'm not looking, Miss, I really enjoyed reading. Socrates was said to be the corrupter of the youth.
Please excuse the interruption. All Period A studies calls should report to the LMC.
So, Mr. Mel, what you're saying is you didn't do the summer reading that we all did?
No. Okay, now see what he just did? God, I read it and reread it and read it for the metaphors, for the reality. I live next to New Bedford. I love Herman Melville, Moby Dick. I love the English cat, Charles Dickens. The night before Thanksgiving, our family watches Miracle on 34th Street. Not the remake, Miss, the original. Then for the next month, we watch It's a Wonderful Life intermittently. And in the end, you will hear the line that no man is a failure who has a friend. Then the Christmas Eve and or Christmas Day, there's dozens of versions. My wife likes other versions. Our children do, grandchildren. I watched 1951 Alastair Sim's version of A Christmas Carol by Charles Dickens. It's the embodiment of all that makes me feel good. I guess my answer to you, Mrs., I will read anything that's true, that helps human beings to be better. I will not That's my answer.
Next question.
Any other questions? Any other questions, comments? Sir?
Hey, I just want to say I apologize for calling this.
You show your character, sir. Number one, God bless you. Number two, you show more character than I ever dreamt of having when I was your age. I hope you didn't take it as a personal attack. Sometimes we overreact, sir, and I did with you, to demonstrate to others what's inappropriate. What you just did tells me that you've got more character than that many will ever have. So I thank you for saying what you said. It means a great deal. God bless you. I'm very impressed by what he said. Any other comments? Any other questions? Miss? Well, Miss, he's got it. The Teacher's Teacher. You Google it on lulu.com. It's a manual that is, how can I say this? It's what I stole from him, from Johnny Burkhardt, from all the teachers you know that from Cornelia Kelly gave it to me in Boston Latin. She said, Mark, anyone can teach our students, quoted in the book. Everything, it's not my book, miss. It's me sharing with teachers, others, what I've learned from great teachers. It's called The Teacher's Teacher. Here's the deal. She said, it was profound. She said, Mark, I said, you've got these great teachers. She said, Mark, we got some good teachers, but get it straight. Anybody can teach a motivated student, a gifted student. Our students will learn in spite of the teachers. She said, I want teachers that can teach guys like you. She wasn't insulting me. She knew my background. I have no education. It's called The Teacher's Teacher. It's just a manual with some personal anecdotes, a manual for anyone, in particular teachers, who want to focus on connecting with kids. You know, miss, you let your son and daughter someday, let them feel your love. You'll get it back. They're your blood now. You let them know that you can't stand them. You don't want to be around them. They will not be your children. They will find another mother, one way or the other, vicarious involvement. Any other question? Miss?
What moment in your life truly changed?
Oh, I can't, hon. I'm sorry. Truly changed. A constant today. That man looking me in the eye like with respect. He gave me inspiration. And good people out there. And good people. I'm a decent person, miss. I don't know how good I did some bad things. And then when I learned what that man did, I was a little, take your beating and shut your mouth. I had to go away, miss. Miss, I was 17 years old, got in a horrible jam in the El Rio Lounge in Providence, Rhode Island. I came home, and that is a profound moment in my life. But I can't answer you, miss. Today, there'll be a moment later today. I sit with him, and there are moments. So I wish I could tell you one cataclysmic, a divine intervention. I was going to end my life when my wife had put me out. And I guess that moment, I had to teach. But I have no credentials, miss. He can't hire me as our relationship is strong. Yeah, I have no credentials. I went to prison to speak, and that changed. That got me to you today. But I can't, there's not one. It's a constant. Today, be better than you were yesterday. Tomorrow, you try to cinch by the inch, hard by the yard. Don't look for massive, overwhelming change tomorrow. I've done that. It doesn't work that way. Look for a little bit of change. A little bit of change. A little bit. His arms didn't get from toothpicks to monster arms overnight. It took him years to build.
Who are you pointing to? Oh, Williams.
No, but that's the point. He knows that, and he's laughing. I wish now, I'd love to go back to a gym once this is corrected and get arms like his again. It ain't gonna happen. I couldn't live long enough to get back to where he is. And that's not being negative, miss. You've got to deal with reality. You're 4 feet tall. You're not going to be a superstar in the NBA. God bless. Good luck.
Thank you, guys. Have a good day.
Hand up to God.